Ethereal synchronicity 444. Yes, y'all. What you saying, people? Today, I've come to speak to you specifically about the new moon in Leo, or the Leo new moon. And that is basically the new moon that we have every month, but each month it moves through different signs of the zodiac, just so that you can follow along. So next month we'll have the Virgo new moon, the month after the Libra new moon, and so on and so forth, if you know the signs of the zodiac and the order that they follow it. Anyway, welcome back to those who are subscribers, regular subscribers, been around for a while, and welcome to those who've just got here, because obviously nobody's necessarily started on the same page. We're all born at a different time on a different day with a different journey and message to convey. So what we're doing with this one, we're talking about this Leo new moon and how it's going to affect people en masse. I say en masse because instead of me doing individual, well, I could kind of break it down individually, but it would take a lot longer and most people's attention span's not built for that. So let me see if I can try and cut it down into a way that it affects everybody on a general level. Now, I've spoken about the sun and the moon, the symbols and the glyphs, what they are, where they are, what they are. So for anybody who doesn't know, feel free to click on one of my previous videos that represents and states some of this stuff. So I'll just keep it moving. New moon in Leo. So last month we had it in Cancer, next month we'll have it in Virgo, but this month the significance is in the fire sign and the creative power and force that is Leo. Now the reason why I'm saying all of this in such a fashion is that every zodiac sign has a planet that's assigned to it as its ruler, and Leo's planet that's been assigned to it is actually the sun itself. So when the sun is here, the sun is actually extra strong, because it's actually, a boss of this place. Irony. But I say that because it actually speaks to some of the other planets that are in their signs of rulership. So Jupiter here in Sagittarius rules this sign, so it's very strong. Saturn in Capricorn, that symbol there. Saturn rules Capricorn, so Saturn is strong in this chart. And Neptune rules Pisces, and in this chart, that will also be very strong. I say that because when I speak about these aspects that I'm mentioning now, you'll see or can have a guess on what may be more of the sway or where the energy may go for you personally, if you know anything about astrology. So I've wrote about 4 or 5 aspects basically. 4, and a couple of other notable points to him. So I'm going to get speaking to him and see how I can get through it this quickly. So when you've had the sun and the moon meet together as they do every month, this is the start of a new initiative, a new message, a new energy that we have to put out and get moving and working with. And in specific, this particular time round, you have got the sun and the moon in a trine to Chiron over here. So for Chiron, I wrote healing the self through creative expression inside and out. So inside speaking to the moon emotionally, and outside speaking to the creative life force of the sun. So then next I looked at the aspect to Jupiter. The sun and moon in conjunction to Jupiter. It's a wide conjunction almost, but it still would count roughly. Creative will / identity fused with emotional disposition. So basically the sun and the moon will be aligned with the wisdom, meaning and expansion of Jupiter. Could result in long distance travel, or people making more journeys and trips. And then sun and moon square Uranus. So Uranus is here. Uranus, potato. So this is the square aspect that shows that. The urge to break away from home, children, family, with possible surprises coming from out of nowhere, especially concerning matters of money, self-worth, and values or personal values, things of this nature. Now I think I may have added that in because Uranus is in Taurus, Taurus is ruled by Venus, but also adds to the added effect of the planet that rules Venus is basically, Taurus is involved in this aspect, which I'll get to next. So then another aspect I wrote about, here we go. The Sun, Moon conjunct Venus, squaring Uranus, but trine to Chiron. So relationship with self and others set to change due to reassessment in one's own personal values, which could prove to be healing for the identity of self. I'd say having the energy to heal yourself through fun and play, creative endeavors, etc. So I would say, well, the reason why I've said that is because you got the Sun and Moon in Leo, and that speaks all about that creative firepower, that will, that life expression, that force. Leo actually rules children as well as fun, games. Well, this is kind of fifth house, but connected to Leo. Excitement, pleasure, romance, sex for fun, as compared to, and procreation as well. So the creative element, just of actually creating life, also can come from the sun. Think about it this way: the sun shines light on everything on this planet and pretty much everything in the solar system, and without its heat and without its light and its radiance, we'd be lacking that thing that we would need to live, the life force. The sun needs everything around it, so that's why the sun kind of like Leo needs an audience, so to speak. The sun without a solar system would kind of basically be, not necessarily a dead sun, but no need to shine the light. It's one way to put it. Anyway, these aspects in relationship to each other, I've actually seen them play out today in my real life, like over the course of, months, maybe. Because I'll actually speak to it, here we go. Because moving to the notable points that I wrote about on my notes. Mercury will be direct stationary at 23 degrees Cancer, conjunct the North Node at 17 degrees Cancer. This could see the energy of Mercury being more potent. Any of the plans or communications, ideas surrounding the areas of work and local/short distance journeys. Mercury's conjunct the previous full moon eclipse point suggests that things that were highlighted by the eclipse will start to gain traction now, especially going into August. So that was something that I was able to observe. So let me show you what I mean. See Mercury here? This is in the fourth sign, so that's Cancer, just for those who are less familiar with astrology. And it was at, the last full moon in Cancer, there we go, 2 weeks ago, get my words out. Mercury stationary and it's causing all kind of havoc with the communication and the words and saying stuff. Even the time it took me to get this video shot and everything like that. So boom, that is the previous, I actually saved this before, must not have resaved the name, but this is the previous full moon, and you can actually see the sun is at 24, just over 24 and 4 Cancer. North Node still there, Venus is by the North Node. Now this time around, 2 weeks later at the new moon, Mercury is now with the North Node, and at the same point about 23 and 56 where the sun was in the full moon. So this is why I was saying that things that were kind of setting off here may start to pick up and gain traction throughout the next couple of weeks through August. So in fact, just to show you how the retrograde works, so Mercury was there at 1 degree in Leo RX. This was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that's what stands for retrograde. S stationary. Yeah, so yeah, you can see the moon 24 Capricorn opposite the sun 24 Cancer. So let me just do that. I'm just kind of sketching the moon, the sun, for anyone who's really looking and needs the extra detail. So those particular two symbols basically highlight this new moon, full moon cycle that I'm speaking of now. So 2 weeks, the moon's got around here, but instead of the sun still being at 24 Cancer, the sun moves 1 degree a day. So it's actually got to the point where it's now at 8 degrees in Leo, 9 degrees. So here where Mars was before. So that's also a trigger point probably of Mars in relation to this new moon in compared to the full moon previously. Everything is connected, and obviously You don't just be born one day, exist and be gone. Like, there'll be a past of your creation, and then, you know, maybe a future of your extinction or whatever. But it doesn't just literally happen without, I guess, the cause and effect process. So anyway, this is actually quite a significant point, this axis in Cancer and Capricorn. The reason why I'm speaking to it, with these planets being here and me talking about this triggering something that may have been in the offing in the last month, because we had the eclipses, and the eclipses are basically full moons and new moons that happen close to the nodes here, up there, and just up here. So when you get the moon and the sun together having a full moon or a new moon or opposite each other by these nodes of the moon, this is what creates the eclipse, because it's within the, basically within the, I want to say vantage point. It's a technicality anyway where you're talking about the ecliptic, but where you can see the moon's orbit crossing the axis of the earth. That is what creates the moon's nodes. Got the words out, there we go, without getting too complex too long. So anyway, this is all very significant for something that's coming up in about 5 months time. We're talking about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in 2020. Now, just putting a little earmark to this, just to show you how everything links up, and astrologers have been looking at this for quite some time in all reality. So, what's this? Right, what I've got to do with this chart, or not what I've got to do, but what I want to do with this chart is change the house setup so that it looks like the last chart. I could do that by doing this. Come on, come on, come on. So Mercury stationary, and there you go. Here's some Mercury stationary action. That's that chart. I do something I didn't really want it to do. Do this. Do that. Do this. This is what it is. Sometimes you gotta push through. It don't all just go smooth and easy and nice and light. Far from it. That's one way to do it. That's this way. Quick time. Pump. Yeah, there we go. So if I actually show you this, there we go. Show you that. So they're both Aries charts. Right, and let me actually make that an Aries chart at some point, but don't worry about it. So anyway, the point I was talking about, Saturn and Pluto conjunction 2020 in 5 months time now. Countdown's actually getting pretty steep. Is significant in the way that certain planets trigger certain other alignments from times of past before and times of future to come. So at the moment we've actually got the moon at the same point, but it's actually 2 degrees past it now, and Mars around this same point. But this is today in time. In 6 months time, the significance will be the moon's going to pass this point again. Well, it passes this point once every month, but in relation to the fact that we had all of the planets, we had Mercury at 23/24 in the last 2 lunar cycles, so the new moon and the full moon. So any kind of, what I'm trying to say with this anyway, right, let's just put it in English. The stuff that's happening now is a precursor to the stuff that's going to happen in future timing. And the alignments are what speak to this. So recently we've had the planets down here opposite in the Capricorn point, Cancer point, opposite the Capricorn point. And now, 6 months later, we're going to have everything pile up in Capricorn. Now, the reason why it's been called the Saturn-Pluto conjunction is because Saturn takes 30 years to do its whole cycle and Pluto 250. So Saturn catches up to Pluto every 20-30 years. And this time, in fact, it's 36, I want to say actually. 35, 36 years, give or take. So every 35 years, Saturn catches Pluto up and they have a little meeting and then they set the order again of what's going to be for the next 35 years or so. Saturn is the planet of, I should actually say, structure, order, the government, discipline, fears, hard work, restrictions, accomplishment, achievement, a long list of things anyway. Material reality, crystallization, Saturn speaks to all of this. Pluto, I'm going to go with the textbook, death, regeneration, rebirth, recycle, essentially, yeah, it's kind of like the nuclear Saturn. So Saturn deals everything that Saturn was said to deal with. Pluto then actually had to then share the attributes with Saturn in returns to the death, the ending, the loss. The Capricorn and Scorpio both deal with endings in different ways. So Saturn and Pluto, the planets that rule them, deal with endings and changings and structures in different ways. But no, Pluto also has a kind of the deeper psychological fears. That's it. Saturn will actually have those as well, but they'll be more on the material, practical level that you can understand. The Pluto fears will be like deeper than, like, I don't know, deeply woven within your DNA of your existence of, and it's kind of the same creation theory that goes within to why Pluto and Scorpio is a very potent energy, because it shares the life and death DNA code of our whole existence here as people. So yeah, anyway, that got a little bit deeper than I was planning to get. But yeah, that's 2020. People really want to know about the future. Look at the past, look at the present, and you'll get an idea of what the future is. Same way how they do with the weather, same way how they do with astrology. So yeah, this is going to be a big moment in time anyway. As I was talking about that, people keep talking about the change and the death and the fall of the old structure and the birth of the new thing. Now you're going to have the Sun and Mercury joining Pluto and Saturn in this particular occasion, and this is something I'm looking at, which I'm interested about. Jupiter is actually going to be by the south node, so kind of speaks to letting go of the, I don't want to say the wisdom, the expansion, the travel, but the south node is kind of, they say, the thing that you should let go of, but I wouldn't say you totally let go of it. It's something that you have to kind of put into balance for the greater growth. And then I guess if I never thought about this. The North Node is in Cancer, which is where it's going to, be for the meanwhile. Then it speaks to, in a chart, looking at this level, where's the moon at? Because the moon's ruler, or Cancer's ruler, is the moon. In this particular chart, it's in Leo. So that probably speaks to this creative expression and this driving. See how everything cycles back again? So we've just gone into Leo season, and I'm here to try to spark up a little buzz. And what I'm looking at here for 2020, something that I never looked at from this perspective, is what's the message of the North Node and what's the North Node's ruler doing. So, and then what are the aspects with it is what you do to, get more in-depth and complicated. But let's just say what we've got sparking now is going to be a precursor to what we're going to have going on in the future. Anyway, I didn't want to make this video too long, so I'll flip back up to the chart that we're on of the moment of this full moon. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a few different things, try to branch out how I can make this work for me, because it's my thing. Shining. With that being the case, I'm going to try to iron out a few things. Mercury's now gone direct. It's still stationary, so it'll be properly direct and moving forward faster by tomorrow and onwards. By the middle of August, it will be back to the point where it turned retrograde. So I think it's around here where the sun and the moon is actually. And yeah, it's going to start basically going back to normal order until it goes retrograde again in 3 months' time. So, it's not over. It's never over. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Going to find different ways to try and express myself and my creativity. So there'll be astrology videos. Anybody that wants to get involved with anything that I'm doing, drop me an email. Anybody that's interested in services in regards to natal chart readings, synastry, that kind of thing in relation to astrology, me breaking down their chart, email me. I will be happy to arrange something with you. And yeah, to everybody that's loving, living, enjoying, embracing and making the most of life, holler at your boy, loving it. And yeah, blessings. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, and I'll be back with you soon. Love y'all.